Good morning. There's a little bit of a chill in the air. Fall is definitely coming. But there's a little bit of a chill in my heart, too. We did it. We crested that number that just hung out there for a while. 4 months ago, almost to the day, we were commemorating 100,000 deaths from COVID in America. Today, like I said, less than 4 months later, we've doubled that number to 200,000 Americans killed by this virus. It's a number that's really hard to wrap our mind around. The population of Salt Lake City, Amarillo, Texas, Augusta, Georgia, 200,000 Americans. Imagine if Salt Lake City no longer existed. That's the kind of fingerprint that this virus has left upon our population, our brothers and sisters. Some people say that if you think about the names of the individuals, and if we were to recite them aloud, 3 seconds for each name, it would be 12,000 names a day. It would take a week to list all their names. And we know the number is still rolling on. The thing that breaks my heart over this are not just those who've died, who've been deprived of the reality of living and dying of natural causes, but also of the many, many, many people who have been impacted by the loss of these 200,000 people. You think about a pebble, that you drop that pebble into a pond. For each name, would those ripples ever end? Would there ever be an end to the pain and suffering of losing these people far earlier than their prime? And I think especially of those children who are orphaned. Story after story of children all over this country who've lost both their parents to this pandemic. We talked 4 months ago about how we would commemorate the 100,000. And we talked about utilizing the model that many of us experienced from the Vietnam era, praying for the POWs and the MIA, the missing in action soldiers, by choosing a name and by praying for them and their family. If you haven't done that yet, you might consider that. There's certainly 100,000 names more to choose from. Some people have talked about planting a tree for every lost life so that there would be a forest of healing and of commemoration marking the passing of these lives. You know, when we see it on the news or we read it in the paper or hear it online, it's almost numbing now. We almost don't pay attention to the way those numbers keep rolling through like a counter. And yet we owe these people and our country a commemoration. I'm really hit by the fact that thus far I'm a survivor of this pandemic. My life no more important than those who we've lost. I feel like it's on me to live my life better, to be more conscientious, to be more thoughtful, to be less impatient. And that's saying a lot for me. I feel like I owe it to those who aren't here living anymore to live the best I can. And so I encourage you to. Even though it cramps your style, our style, even though it's binding and uncomfortable, wear a mask. Do your best to protect the lives of others, those you do know and those you don't know. Live in such a way that honors those who've passed and no longer have that chance to live themselves anymore. Let's be our best selves, and let's love our neighbor. How's that, self?